everyone, and welcome to Hara Arena, where we present the Indoor Football League. Tonight, it's the Dayton Skyhawks and the Lincoln Lightning, and an exciting matchup it is. Hello, everyone. I'm Kevin O'Boyle for Media One Sports. Tonight, it's the high-flying Lincoln Lightning coming in, averaging over 64 points per game on offense against one of the top defenses in the league in the Dayton Skyhawks. And in bringing in my broadcast colleague, Eric Boykin, the task for the Skyhawks, daunting, but not one they're going to shy away from.
Lincoln has proved to be one of the top offensive teams in the league, and the Skyhawk defense has played very well the last few weeks, so it'll be a good challenge tonight.
And speaking of the Lincoln offense, some familiar faces for fans that have followed Division I college football. You got Monte Cristo leading the show for the Lightning at quarterback.
Monte Cristo started a few games out at Lincoln last year with the Cornhuskers, so he's experienced in big games and he can run a lot.
And the Dayton Skyhawks defense, as you mentioned, they're coming in off performance in their last outing here at Hara Arena, giving up only 13 points to the Duluth Lumberjacks. Duluth, they go play Lincoln last week, and they scored 64 points against Lincoln, so they give up a lot of points on defense.
They give up a lot of points on defense, so that should be good for Michael Armour, and the Dayton Skyhawks are looking to do some things differently this week, so I think it'll be interesting for all the fans viewing in.
It's going to be a high-flying show in the wall-to-wall war tonight at Hara Arena. The Lightning and the Skyhawks opening kickoff coming at you in a moment. Stay with us. And welcome back to Hara Arena, everyone. Kevin O'Boyle and Eric Boykin with you. We're getting set for tonight's game between the Lincoln Lightning and the Dayton Skyhawks. And just in case you were wondering, Lincoln coming in averaging 64.2 points per game on offense, but they're also giving up 44.2 points per game on defense. So the Dayton Skyhawks, Eric, provided they don't get off to a slow start like they did the last two outings, they should have a pretty good chance of scoring some points against this Lincoln team.
This should be a breakout game for the Dayton Skyhawks. Last week we only scored 16 points, so I know Mike Schneider will be trying to improve on that number this week.
And they only scored 10 in the first half against Duluth 2 weeks ago in the last game here at home for the Skyhawks down there on between the 20 and 25-yard lines. The ceremonial coin toss for tonight's game. The officials, referee Larry Freeman just made the call for the coin toss. The umpire is Steve Burles. Sid Rodeheffer is the head linesman. Line judge Tom Burns. Back judge Roger Paramore. Some familiar names in the Dayton area and in Ohio officiating on this crew working tonight's Indoor Football League at Hara Arena. The Skyhawks trying to improve to 3-3 and move into sole possession of second place in the Southern Division. The Lincoln Lightning coming in at 4-1 in first place, 2 games up on the Dayton Skyhawks in the Southern Division standings. And if you're wondering about some common opponents, Lincoln was defeated at Madison 37-34, but he scored 78 against Steel Valley and 86 last week against Duluth. That is almost an unfathomable amount of points.
They're lighting it up. Watching the film, they're adding some points for them, but they're marching up and down the field and scoring at will so far.
Talking to the radio announcers for Lincoln before the game, last week against Duluth, every time they touched the ball on offense, except for one time they scored a touchdown. The one time they did not score, they missed a field goal attempt. And the defense got in the act as they returned 2 interceptions for touchdowns a week ago. We're getting set. Paul Kosel will be doing the kicking duties for the Lincoln Lightning. Back deep to receive Anthony Payton. Payton, who was the recipient of a 49-yard touchdown pass by Michael Armour the last time we saw the Skyhawks. Takes it out 2 yards deep, gets a seam, and is up to the 15, met there by the Lincoln Lightning's Robert Pensick. Falls ahead for another yard, so the Skyhawks will start out 1st and 10 from their own 19. Take a look at it, Eric.
It was an easy returnable kick. Anthony did a good job of just getting up behind the wedge, just getting all he could.
Got a good block there from number 98, William Morris, now wearing the usual number 11 that we've seen him this season. Bit of a busted play on the first down attempt, and Harmer is caught in the backfield.
Probably just some nerves right there, Kev. First play of the game. Take some time to get loose out there, but we can't have too many of those.
Not against a Lincoln team that likes to light it up on the scoreboard. Can't afford to miss good scoring opportunities. Harmer on 2nd down, draw play. Marvell Scott's got some running room, ahead for about 5. Fans looked like they wanted a face mask as he was pulled down by Marcus McClellan. Setting up the defense for Lincoln after we look at this replay, Eric.
Right here, the linemen are showing pass, and we had a draw set up. Marvell gets through the hole. And right here, McClellan face mask Marvell, but we didn't get a flag right there.
Nate Newhouse, Carlos Gilchrist, Daryl Lattimore in the defensive backfield. They have Robert Pensick at linebacker, and Marcus McClellan, Trent Tolai, Jeff Ogard, and Dwayne Harris will be rotating on the defensive line. Outlet pass caught by James Scott. Scott is trapped along the sidelines, and it looks like he's going to be about a yard short. 4th down and 1 coming up.
On a 3rd down play like that, James Scott has to get to the 1st down marker.
Take a look at it here.
We call this route 95. Michael's taking a 3-step drop, and right here, James has to get to the 1st round marker. You got to know where the markers are so you can get that 1st down.
Good defensive play holding him up. Robert Pensick ahead is Marvell Scott, and he does not have it. He is stopped short. Leading the charge was Nate Newhouse, and the Lightning have held. They'll take over 1st down and 10. The ball will be at their own 22.
Skyhawk offense looks flat right now. They need to get it going, or it will be a long night, Kev.
Bonnie Cristo wears number 9. He's got some favored targets. Frenchie Buckner, one wide receiver's position. The other receivers, Tom Stark and Leroy Frederick, going in the direction of Buckner. And Buckner, the sideline boards broke up that pass. Covering on the play was Ronnie Smith. Ronnie Smith getting the start for Dayton on defense.
Just a three-step fade right here, and Ronnie Smith does a good job. The board is like an extra defender out there, so if you can't get the ball, just push the receiver into the board.
Running back, Damon Benning. Folks, he's coming in almost averaging 5 yards a carry. Pass in the direction, incomplete, intended for Leroy Frederick. Bring up a 3rd down for the Lincoln Lightning.
Christo's a short quarterback. He started a few games last year for the University of Nebraska, and I think we'll see Lincoln try to get him out of the pocket so he can see the ball, so he can see the field a little better.
Out of the shotgun on 3rd down and 10. Takes a good look upfield and hits his receiver, Tom Stark. Pushed against the sideline boards on defense. Raynard Cover over there for the Skyhawks. Wait for the 1st down at the Dayton 10-yard line.
Lincoln in the shotgun. Christo has a lot of time, comes back, takes his time, sets his feet, and makes a nice throw.
It'll be 1st down and goal for the Lightning at the 10-yard line. Handoff, Benning. Couple of juke steps, and he gets inside the 5-yard line. Stop was made by William Morris. A 7-yard gain for Damon Benning. And it'll be 2nd down and 3. Benning coming in 4.9 yards a game, or averaging 4.9 yards a carry. We take another look at.
That was a draw. William Morris has to make that play right there.
Needs just 5 more yards for 500 yards rushing on the season, and he stops short. Oh, they're going to say he's in. Damon Benning, a 3-yard carry, just barely gets over the end zone line, and the Lightning have the first touchdown of the game.
Just a toss sweep. Look at the blocking up front. Terrence Saucer has a shot at him, misses the tackle. C.J. McDavid hits him, and Benning scores the touchdown.
On for the extra point attempt, Paul Kosel. It'll come out of the hold of Jamie Stinson. Kosel's kick is good. So the Lincoln Lightning, courtesy of a 3-yard run by Damon Benning, strike first and lead it 7-0. I'm sure that's not the way that Ernest Wilson would have drawn up the first 5 minutes of the ball game. His team coming out flat on offense, Eric, and then giving up the quick strike pass down to the 10, setting up the touchdown run.
Kevin, the offense and the defense, they look very lackadaisical the first opening series, but hopefully we can get together and get going here. We cannot afford to give Lincoln a lot of points because they will run the ball down your throat and they will take a lot of clock away from you.
Downfall for the Skyhawks a week ago at Green Bay was a big second quarter by the Bombers. 23 points scored by Green Bay in that second quarter, leading to that 29-16 loss. Skyhawks can ill afford to fall behind early in this game. Line drive kick. Taken by Payton at the 3. Gets a good block, cuts to the outside, and he's knocked into the sideboards at the 22-yard line. And one man to beat, couldn't get out of the hold of Marcus McClellan. Look there at Anthony Payton. Line drive kick that time, Eric.
Line drive bounces. That can be a dangerous kick right there. Marmino has to make his mind whether he's going to catch it or get out of the way. The wedge has to get downfield and get some blocks so Payton can have some room to run.
Hand off to the second back, Marvell Scott, and Scott a couple of nice moves there. Keeps his feet moving and falls ahead to the 23 of Lincoln. And with that, we'll step aside. The Lincoln Lightning in front, 7-0. Welcome back to Hara Arena. 7-0, the Lincoln Lightning over the Dayton Skyhawks. It'll be a 2nd down and 6 play coming up for the Skyhawks from the Lincoln 23-yard line. The Kitty Hawk dancers not wanting to get off the field.
I think the fans are excited to see the Kitty Hawks this week.
Put some pads on them. Get them out there. Oh, there they go. Marvell Scott, a 4-yard carry on the last play for the Skyhawks. Dayton unable to convert on a 4th down and 1, and their first series of the game. See how they do here. Second series, Scott on the pitch, cuts to the outside. He's got the first down inside the 15-yard line. Carlos Gilchrist on the stop. Had a buddy out there leading the charge in Big Sam Maverick.
That was great blocking up front. Marvell put his head down and got all he could.
Scott, an 11-yard gain. down to the 12-yard line of the Lightning, where it's first down and 10 for the Skyhawks. Marvell Scott, 16 yards in his last 2 carries. Armour pass is complete on the near side as he hits James Scott, and a break for Michael Armour because it looked like he had his feet caught with one of the linemen as he tried to make his step back. Let's see if we can pick that one up, Eric.
I think, who is it? James Marmino, the fullback, gets in Michael Armour's way, but he still's poised enough to get the ball off to James Scott, who gets a nice yardage.
Armour on second down and 9, or second down and 7 rather, from the 9. Give to Scott. Scott's in for the touchdown. Marvell Scott.
Great run right there.
9-yard run.
Great run, great run. That play's been working for us all night so far.
Marvell Scott gets the touchdown.
In the playbook, this is called 29 with the lead blocker. James Marino takes out number 42, and Marvell puts his head down and gets into the end zone.
On for the extra point attempt, Tom Sellers. Trying to tie things up at 7. Sellers kick up and no good.
Critical.
Coming into the game, neither Dayton kicker really standing out. Tom Sellers 5 of 7 in the point after touchdowns, coming in now 5 of 8, but just 2 of 10 in the field goal department. See if we can pick up where this field goal or this extra point attempt went awry.
Good snap. I think Tom just pulled it.
7-6 our score.
We have to hit the extra points. Those points will they add up at the end of the ball game, Carol.
It's like the game of golf. That extra little inch before you get the ball into the cup comes in so big.
Usually the man with most birdies always wins on that Sunday.
And football the same way, a game of inches. You just hit it just the right way, and you can pull them either side of the goalpost. Sellers on for the kickoff. Line drive takes a bounce right in front of Leroy Frederick. Has some trouble picking it up. Catches a seam. Frederick pulled down from behind by Terrence Oster as he was cutting across the field. And the Lightning will have it first down and 10 at the 13, but looks like we've got a penalty flag down. Can't see it. It's probably along the near sidelines.
Let's see. Tom buries him in the corner. I think the discussion
right there.
He touched the wall with the ball. He should be dead back at the 5-yard line.
And that is what the call is. It's not a penalty. And the ball did hit the wall at the 5 as you saw it on our replay. And that is where the Lightning will have it to start on offense. So a bit of a hold for Lincoln. Frederick tried to plead his case, but was unable to.
Right here, the Skyhawks need to stop. This is a big series right here.
Bristow looks over the middle, and it's picked off. Raynard Gover picks it off at the 21 of Dayton, and a big defensive play for the Skyhawks.
Great play by Raynard right there.
The Kentucky Wildcat picks it off and gives the Skyhawks the ball right back.
Crystal has plenty of time, just throws the ball too high. Raynard's right there for that interception.
Timing pattern intended for Tom Stark, overthrown, and the turnover to the Skyhawks. And as you were saying about the extra points, the other thing that's going to kill you, turnovers. So both teams with mistakes. Pass and shoot for Red. And just a bit overthrown.
We have to complete those. That's the same play that Anthony Payton scored the 49-yard touchdown on last week.
Carlos Gilchrist defending on that play. Let's see.
This is a hitch and go right here. Michael pumps fake, then he's throwing it up. He just a little too much coffee in the tank right now. Whoa.
Ronnie Red. Oh, and Michael Armour trips and falls down, is officially sacked by Trent Toline. Loss of yardage on the play, back to the 17-yard line.
I think James Mormino tripped him up again. Skyhawks are doing something different this week. We're going the whole game with the two-back set. We may see the traditional 3 wide receiver set that's used throughout the IFL, but Mike Snyder's decided to go the two-back set from the onslaught this week.
3rd down and 14 for the Skyhawks. Armour can't elude the tackle of the Lincoln Lightning, Jeff Ogard. And it'll bring up a 4th down from the 16. And limping a little bit is Michael Armour.
See, Michael sets up. Brad Six flushes him from the pocket. And Jeff Ogard finishes him off.
On for the long extra point attempt will be Tom Sellers. This will be a 50-yard field goal attempt if he makes it. Low snap. Sellers kick just tried for positioning. Taken by Newhouse along the far sideline, and he is mashed into the boards by Mormino, and now Houston getting into the fray. As Tim Mack getting right in the face of William Morris.
Tom does a good job of bringing this ball in the corner, which you're supposed to do on that long of a field goal. CJ right here wraps up missing tackle. Mormino drives him into the board.
Almost like a punt.
Yeah, exactly. This game, you'll see a lot of intensity in this game because these two teams play each other in the next 2 weeks, and we're in the same division, so this will have a lot of implications on the playoffs.
Big game for both teams, rather, and there's a mistake. Trying to pull was Travis Santage, and he pulled just a bit too soon. So that should be a 3-yard mark-off for the false start. It'll back him up to the 7-yard line. It'll be 1st and 13. Lincoln leading the Skyhawks by 1. The measure, a missed extra point by Tom Sellers after the Marvell Scott touchdown run. Bootleg. Christo, and he gets his intended receiver. That was Tom Stark for the completion out to the 17-yard line. 10-yard completion. It'll bring up 2nd down and 3.
Christo ran the option at the University of Nebraska, so having him in the backfield is like having another tailback. So I think the Lincoln coaching staff will utilize his mobility, getting him in and out of the pocket, and we'll see some quarterback draws throughout the course of the game.
Averaging 4.3 yards a carry himself rushing the football, 125 yards on the season, and there's Benning being pulled down in the backfield by Mansfield Dinkins.
Great play by Mansfield.
Loss of a yard on the play, back to the 16-yard line, where it will bring up a 3rd down and 4.
In football terms, the center just olays right there. He misses his man completely, and Mansfield, he gets the tackle.
Big 3rd down play for Lincoln coming up. And Christo eludes the 1 tackle of Worthy and finds the receiver, Tom Stark. And Stark comes up and gets right in the face of Terrence McClain. Christo, how he eluded C.J. McDavid, I'll never know. McDavid, almost like he was part of the backfield.
Right here's Marcus Worthy first misses him. Then C.J. McDavid misses a tackle also. Christo's very elusive. Does a good job keeping his head downfield to find start.
Long pass intended for Buckner, incomplete.
Good coverage by Ronnie Smith. He needs to get his head around a little earlier to find where the ball is.
And Christo had to get that one away in a hurry because C.J. McDavid was right in his face.
This is just a simple go route. Ronnie Smith right there gets lucky. He didn't have his head around.
That'll bring up a second down and 10 from the Lincoln 24-yard line. And before they get the play underway, we'll step aside. We've got a 1-point ball game. Lincoln in front, 7-6. Welcome back to Hara Arena, where the Lincoln Lightning leading the Dayton Skyhawks by 1, 7-6. On-field promotional activities going on right now. Minute 41 to go in our opening quarter of play. And the Dayton Skyhawks defense trying to hold the Lincoln Lightning. Lincoln facing a second down and 10 from the 24. Except for that first drive, the Dayton Skyhawks have played some inspired defense, Eric Boykin.
Defense came out, gave up an early score. Now they're settling down and playing Skyhawk football.
Christo, deep drop, looks the field over and overthrows Tom Stark.
That's incomplete. Intended for number 83, Tom Stark.
Fans right there on the sideline thought that ball was coming over the glass into their hands.
Football League. Please support the kids and pick up a program here for your.
Here it is again.
Right here. He has plenty of time, just overthrows his open man. That fan right there wanted that ball.
As always in the Indoor Football League, you catch a ball while the game's going on from the field, you can bring it home with you. And oh, what a defensive play. A hit and a half by Terrence Oster. But it's complete to Leroy Frederick, and it is close to a first down. It'll bring up fourth down play for Lincoln.
Rolling the quarterback out again. Sets they're running a comeback route, and Ronnie Smith's right there. Great hit.
That hit by Boston saved the first down. Try for the quarterback sneak. Did Christo get it? They're going to have to measure for it. Defensive coach Raymond Red says no. Terrence Oster says no, but
he's trying to go right between the center guard gap.
That's a pretty good play there by Raynard Gover.
Raynard Gover here. I think we're going to have to bring the chains out for a marking. It's going to be awfully close.
They will measure. It's going to be close. Somewhere amongst that.
They stopped
and they stopped them. The Skyhawks have held.
Great fourth down stop.
The Lincoln Lightning, the vaunted offensive machine, coming in, having scored 86 points last week and only one touchdown in the first quarter this week, and the first quarter about to expire.
That's a big confidence builder for the defense for the rest of the game.
And we have a new quarterback for the Dayton Skyhawks, Danny Smith. And when we return to the second quarter at Hara Arena, we'll talk about that move by the Skyhawks. Lincoln leads it 7-6 after one. Welcome back to Arena, everyone. Kevin O'Boyle, Eric Boykin with you for Media One Sports. Indoor Football League action. The Skyhawks of Dayton trailing Lincoln by 1, 7-6. New quarterback Danny Smith out there. Played his college ball at Miami of Ohio. Smith underthrows the intended receiver, Anthony Payton. Bring up a second down for the Skyhawks, and have to wonder what did happen to Michael Armour in that last series for the Skyhawks.
I know Michael had been having ankle trouble, but it didn't seem to be bothering him. Danny comes in, takes a big hit right there. That could have affected the low throw.
Second down and 10. Smith, outlet pass. Nice move by Payton. Gets close to the first down. Stop made by Nate Newhouse. He was stopped in the backfield. Payton made one move and then got upfield and is close to the first down.
Anthony Payton is a great athlete.
The Kentucky Wesleyan product. Here is the play.
Just one step. This is almost an extended sweep right here. Breaks the tackle right there and just gets upfield and gets all he can. In this league, it's not a lot of room to go left and right. You got to go north and south.
3rd and inches. Marvell Scott, and he'll be stopped in the backfield. Stays on his feet. Stripping the ball was Dwayne Harris.
Dwayne Harris played at the University of Nebraska. He was also with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a little while.
One of 6 former Nebraska Cornhuskers on this Lincoln Lightning team. Here's that last carry by Morris, or rather Marvell Scott.
They just jammed him up at the line of scrimmage. It seems as if Michael and Danny were having problems getting the snaps from Anthony Lawrence, so he's been replaced by Sam Maverick, and Brian Herlockers came in at left guard. This is 4th and 1. Critical play.
4th down play for the Skyhawks. Pitch. Marvell Scott changes direction.
Oh!
An open field, and he'll go for the touchdown.
Great play.
Marvell Scott, great individual effort, and the Skyhawks lead 12-7.
Great play right there. He didn't have nothing to the play side. Using his instinct, cut across the field to get that touchdown. This is all Marvell Scott right here. He didn't have anything, but he knew he had to get the first down. Breaks the tackle, goes all the way on his own. Great block right there by Anthony Payton, sealing off that backside. Touchdown.
The Delaware Blue Head product for the Dayton Skyhawks.
Scouts will be going for 2. He missed that opening extra point, so we'll try to make it up right here.
Sweet Payton, he's got it. That's a 14-7 game.
That evens us up. Just a sweep to Anthony Payton. This 2-point conversion was very important for late stages in the game. This evens it up the way it's supposed to be.
Marvell Scott, a big 26-yard touchdown run. And the way he's been going the last couple of weeks in the backfield for the Skyhawks, well, folks, he's going to go for his medical doctorate degree at Rice State University. Maybe we can make the case he's Dr. Touchdown.
I think Marvell will agree with that nickname.
Well, we got Dr. J in basketball. Well, why not Dr. Touchdown for Dayton Skyhawk football?
That was a great run by Marvell right there. Coach Wilson had been talking all week about guys on offense stepping up and making big plays because the defense they've been giving great effort the last couple weeks, so we need to score more points.
Low kick. Frederick cuts to the outside, now waits for something to develop, tried to make a couple of moves. It didn't elude Ronnie Smith at all. Frederick returns it out to the 21-yard line, and that is about the best field position for Lincoln since the opening drive of the game for the Lightning.
Frederick gets the squib kick. Ronnie Smith has to keep containing right here. Frederick just stops. I don't know. Seeing a lot of Skyhawks right there.
Like you said, it's a north-south run. He was trying to go east-west. Here's the running back, David Benning, coming in, leading runners in the IFL. And he's across midfield through the 24-yard line of Dayton.
Coming into the game, Lincoln was the leading running team, but they came out passing. I don't know if they were intimidated by the Skyhawk defense or if they were just trying to catch us off guard.
Second down and 5 for the Lightning at the 24. Skyhawks lead it by 7 points. Here's Benning, and he stopped in the backfield as he was wrapped up at the line of scrimmage by William Morris. Mansfield Dinkins also in on that play.
The defensive line has been playing really well the last 3 weeks. Dinkins, Morris, Marsh, they've come to play.
Big defensive play there by the Skyhawks.
Let's hear it for your Skyhawks.
Third down and 5 for the Lightning.
Oh.
Cristo, naked bootleg, a lot of running room. Cuts it through the middle, inside the 5-yard line. Stop made by Reynard Gover. And that one is going to give Raymond Red fits. Saw the running ability there of Monte Cristo.
William Morris was responsible for Monte Cristo getting outside of contain. He has to stop him right there. Monte Cristo is a tailback playing quarterback.
Here's Benning, and he's in for the touchdown. Damon Benning goes 4 yards on a first down play, and the Lightning now just an extra point away from tying this one up.
Cristo's big run sets up that score right there by Damon Benning.
Ball goes a lot for the extra point attempt. Kick, and it hit the up. Oh, they're going to say that one was good as it went inside of the upright. That
Extra point is good.
have to check on that one as the Lincoln Lightning have tied it up, and here is the replay on it. Yep,
Squeezed
it
in
through. But that one did not squeeze through by very much. So we've got a brand new ball game, tied at 14. A little over 5 minutes gone by in our second quarter. And don't forget that the Skyhawks will be back out here at Hara Arena on May 28th as they continue the wall-to-wall war. They'll be taking on the Steel Valley Smash out of Wheeling, West Virginia. They go on the road next week to Lincoln, and then May 21st they have a bye. Why not call the Dayton Skyhawks for tickets? 228-4295. Come out and see a game here at Hara Arena, and that one took out a fan, not one of the ones in the seats, one of the ceiling fans hanging from the ceiling.
One of the lower ceiling arenas in the IFL. The kickers have to watch that. Warm-ups, they've seen it, so it's no excuse for them to hit the fan.
So the Skyhawks catch a break as the ball will be placed at midfield.
Critical mistake by the Lincoln kicker.
First down for your Skyhawks at midfield.
First down from midfield. Smith takes off. He's got at least 5 as he's pushed in the sideboards by Ogard. Gets out to the 20-yard line. It's not a bad play when nothing really was in front of you. It's better than throwing it away and risking interception.
Danny does a good job right here of not making a mistake. His receivers are covered. Offense line does a good job, gives him plenty of time right here. Seems as if Ronnie Red comes open, but Danny feels comfortable just running the ball.
And we'll step aside. We've got a tie ball game, 14-14. Skyhawks face a 2nd down and 5 from the 20-yard line. Trying to get the go-ahead touchdown here. Danny Smith just made a 5-yard run on 1st down from midfield. Smith, pass, and does complete to James Scott. Scott still on his feet, but he can't elude the grasp of Carlos Gilchrist. And it is a 1st down for the Skyhawks inside the 10 at the 8-yard line.
This is just a simple hitch route. Danny does a good job, delivers the ball to Scott. Scott makes a couple good moves. He had been out a couple weeks, so he was antsy to get the ball in his hands tonight.
Does a pretty good job running with it after he catches the football. Pitch, Mormino. Cuts to the outside, Mormino, and he is close to the goal line, but he was pushed out of bounds at the 2-yard line. So James Mormino with the carry. Gain of 5 officially, so it'll be 2nd down and goal from the 3.
The toss sweep has been working very well for the Skyhawks tonight, so we're continuing to run it.
2nd down and goal. Out of the I formation. Give Marvell Scott straight up the middle. Touchdown, Skyhawks.
The Skyhawk offense has accepted the challenge tonight. The offense knew coming into the game they would have to score 40 to 50 points in order for this game to stay close. An isolation play. Marvell does a good job. Look at that offensive line right there.
Nice blocks. Tom Sellers on for the extra point attempt. Chance to put the Skyhawks in front by 7, and he misses this one. And I think, and I'm not trying to fault the holder, but bit of a bobble there by Michael Armour could have cost Sellers.
Somebody's got a great football on that. And the score here is Skyhawks 20 and the Lincoln 14.
See if he can pick it up.
Bobbled snap. Sellers pushes it to the right.
You know, folks, I don't want to criticize the quarterbacks too much. I got one of them sitting right here to my right. His right hand might be in a cast, but he's going to get that off in a couple of weeks. And I might get that cast wrapped over my head after he gets it off if I give the quarterbacks too much of a hard time.
Those extra points, Kevin, are so important. How many times have we seen a 42-41 game and a team coming out on top just because the other team missed an extra point? Can't have that.
Sellers to kick it off. Skyhawks in front by 6, and he puts this one into the crowd. So the Lincoln Lightning will get a break in field position as they take it over at midfield. With a team like Lincoln, you can't give them the breaks in field position.
Critical right there. That's a critical mistake. Tom has to keep the ball in the field of play.
When the Lincoln Lightning have been setting up shop deep in their own end, they have not been able to move the football effectively. Given 2 possessions near midfield, they've scored 2 touchdowns. Christo intended for Buckner, and a penalty marker flies on the play from Roger Paramore. And it looks like it was a completed pass anyway, so it'll be 1st and goal for Lincoln at the 4. They're talking things over.
Buckner did a good job of hanging on to that ball right there, taking a vicious hit.
Official call from referee Larry Friedman. Pass interference declined against the Skyhawks. So it will be 1st and goal for Lincoln, and the ball will be at the 3-yard line. So a 22-yard completion gives the Lightning a 1st and goal from the Skyhawks 3. Pitch, Benning wrapped up by William Morris, and then driven back. No gain on the play. C.J. McDavid coming up from his linebacker's position to help out.
Good job by the defense on that play. It's tough to stop teams inside 5, but the Skyhawks have been doing a good job of that in recent weeks.
Second down from the 3. Pitch goes back to Benning, and he is wrapped up on the near sidelines. Terrence McLean in on the charge. C.J. McDavid and Raynard Gover as well.
Got a flag on the play. Just a simple toss sweep. Rondell Marsh does a good job. The secondary comes up. Terrence McLean's the first one there. Smith and C.J. McDavid finish him off.
An illegal rush against the Skyhawks negates that fine defensive play and puts the Lightning a yard and a half closer to the end zone. So the Skyhawks now with their backs literally against the wall. It'll be 2nd and goal from inside the 2. Diving for the end zone and getting it is Benning.
That looked really close right there, Kev, but they're giving him the touchdown.
It's been the Damon Benning and Marvell Scott show on the touchdown scoring tonight.
Benning goes airborne right here. Defense does a good job of meeting him. Ball crosses the goal line right there, touchdown.
Ball goes on for the extra point attempt. Kosel will kick collegiately at the University of Nebraska at Omaha. Kick is blocked. Loose football. Picking it up is Kosel, and he is smacked into the sideboards by Raynard Gover.
Raynard Gover is holding his arm, hope nothing's wrong with him. Raynard's turned into a fierce hitter out here. The old man of the team.
So a big block.
Morris does a good job of blocking the kick right there. Ronnie Smith tries to pick up the ball, and Raynard has a free safety, keeps contained right there and drives him into the wall. Raynard Gover's 32 years old. He's been playing great football for the Skyhawks. He's a mentor to a lot of younger players out here, and he helps keep everybody in line.
Big block. And the score remains tied at 20. So that missed extra point by Tom Sellers, not so big now, at least at this point.
With Lincoln missing one, it kind of keeps the game back in track now for the Skyhawks.
Kosel this time keeps the ball from hitting the ceiling. Payton on the return. Anthony Payton, one man to beat. That's Kosel. Race for the end zone. Touchdown! A 45-yard return by Anthony Payton, and the Skyhawks
Anthony Payton does a good job back here. Reads his block. Good job by Sam Maverick right there. Mormino gets a block. Yes. Govert gets a block in there, and he just outruns everybody to the end zone. Great to see it. When the special teams can score, that adds to the game.
And we've got a timeout called for by the Skyhawks after the extra point to try to settle things down. And here's the thing for Ernest Wilson and Mike Snyder. Do you go for 2 points and put your team in front by 8, or do you just go for the extra point? You got that opportunity now after the block on the last extra point by Lincoln.
That's an interesting point you bring up, Kevin. Considering we've had trouble with the extra points, I don't know if you really want to kick it, or I think you may want to go for 2.
Or even, we've seen the drop kick.
The drop kick. Tom Sellers does a good job of that.
Well, it looks like it's going to be a traditional 1-point try. It will come out of the hold of Michael Armour. And it's good. So Tom Sellers gives the Skyhawks a 7-point advantage with 4:37 to go in the first half.
Right here, good snap, good hold by Michael Armour, and Tom follows through. Tom Sellers is a good kicker with a strong leg. He just has to take his time, follow through.
Skyhawks lead it 27-20. And the Lincoln Lightning trying to come back in this one. And I would have to say that it's somewhat unfamiliar territory for the Lincoln Lightning in the fact that they're not used to having to come from behind, especially not in recent weeks.
Lincoln's been doing a lot of scoring. With the 4-1 record, they've been dominating these games. So this is besides the game they lost to Madison, this is the second time they've only been behind all year.
That one was just 2 weeks ago, that loss to the Madison Mad Dogs. Kickoff by Sellers. Frederick from 5 yards deep in the end zone. And he's tripped up.
Raynard Gover again. We're calling his name every play, Kev, so that means he's doing a good job out there.
So a 53-yard kickoff return by Anthony Payton. Good job on special teams by Raynard Gover.
Good kick by Sellers. Frederick had a lot of room to run right there. Oh, and Gover stops him before he hits the corner because there was no one out there. Touchdown, saving play.
Draw, Benning. And Benning runs right into Ronnie Red, inserted into the game for the Skyhawks on defense. It's a first down carry, good for 11 yards.
Ronnie Red on tackle. I think what's happening is Ronnie Smith has a broken finger, and it could be painful right now for him. So Ronnie came in and gave him a break at corner.
Benning breaks free in center of the field, straight down the field. Helmet flies off. Penalty flag flies. Benning is inside the 5, and it looks like the penalty marker is going to be for a face mask. So we'll see where this one ends up, but a good run nonetheless by Damon Benning.
Great run by right here. Raynard Gover misses a tackle. C.J. McDavid comes back with the face mask. It didn't look intentional right there. His helmet barely grabbed the face mask, and his helmet came off.
So the face mask yardage will be tacked out to the end of the run, which ended at the 7 of the Skyhawks. will be marked inside the 3. So this one is, as had been advertised, an offensive and explosive contest. 47 points scored, including 5 touchdowns so far in the second quarter of play. From inside the 4, first down, Benning fighting for the end zone. He's got it. Damon Benning gets his 4th touchdown of the game, and the Lincoln Lightning 1 point away from tying this one up.
This is a straight dive play right here. Good blocking up front. Damon Benning, he's running hard, picking those knees up, trying to get into that end zone. A typical Tom Osborne back. Benning.
Also on for the extra point. And he misses it. And we've got a scuffle going on inside the 5-yard line. Getting right into it was the Skyhawks, Sam Maverick. Players separate. And it's a 27-26 game. And here is the extra point attempt by Coastal. And
Just a horrible kick right there, Kev.
you know, to give the kickers some measure of respect, it's not like in outdoor football where they're kicking at a wider goalpost. Those goalposts are only 8 feet apart in the IFL. Definitely
Makes for a hard kick, but he didn't have to worry about the wind and the rain. He wasn't close on that one. But it is a tougher kick.
27-26 our score. And you also have to wonder about the effects of that hit he took, trying to run after the blocked extra point after the last Lincoln touchdown, that being Paul Coastal.
I wouldn't be surprised if they put this ball in the air again to Anthony Payton, but they did.
Payton, 5 yards deep in the end zone once again. Gets a couple of good blocks. Tries to work himself free, and he is out to the 14-yard line. And the Skyhawks, with 2:40 to go in the first half, will have it first down and 10.
Payton feels the ball. At this point, he's just trying to get all the yards he can.
Out to the 14-yard line. First down and 10, Skyhawks. Payton on the quick sideline screen out across the 20-yard line.
Just lost his feet right there. If he could have kept his feet, I think he would have had a chance to score on that play.
And we'll step aside with a 2-minute warning given to both benches. Skyhawks in front, 27-26. Back here at Hara Arena, Kevin O'Boyle and Eric Boykin with you for Media One Sports. Skyhawks having second down and 4 from the 20-yard line. 1:59 to go. And a chance, Eric, to get more than a 1-point advantage going into the locker room. You get a touchdown and an extra point, an 8-point advantage. That could be a real big momentum boost going towards the second half. Another one of those hitch patterns, sideline. Scott catches it. He's got the first down across midfield. Defending on the play was Tim Mack.
It's time to get out your program and open it to the Superior Cleaning ad. You'll find them on
As Kevin said, it was a hitch play. The playbook is called 93. Scott makes him miss and gets upfield.
Your Dayton Skyhawks, you just won 4 front section tickets for the remaining Skyhawk ball game.
Balls ahead to the 24-yard line. Skyhawks first out and 10. Draw play, Mormino. Hole closed up in a hurry. Tackle made by Marcus McClellan, but a 3-yard gain for James Mormino, who is back from having served some time on the injured list himself.
James he had a concussion in the Wheeling game, Steel Valley Smash, a few weeks ago, and he's finally coming back. He's open right now.
Down the field
Oh!
for Scott.
Danny just misses him. Scott's wide open right there. He just needs to take his time and set his feet and hit the receiver.
That is one that I'm sure Danny Smith would like to have over.
A quarterback's dream right here. James Scott is open, and Danny just throws it low.
It'll bring up a 3rd down and 7 from the 22. Clock is running. 45 seconds to go in the first half. Skyhawks looking to add some distance between them and the Lightning, and Scott overthrown on the screen play.
That screen never came together right there. Lincoln did a good job of reading the screen, and their defensive backs came up.
He tripped over the legs of Trent Toleen, the defensive lineman for the Lincoln Lightning. It'll be a 4th down play, and they'll try for the field goal.
The offensive line, they need to hold these guys a little longer, give Danny a chance to set up, and Lincoln did a good job right there reading that screen.
Sellers on for the field goal attempt. 37-yard kick, and just missing. So the Lincoln Lightning a chance now with 22 seconds to go, and the ball will be placed at midfield.
Tom sets up. This is a good kick right here. He's just a little wide right. Curves on him at the end.
Just missed.
It's important right here for the defense to hold up. With 17 seconds to go, I think they're going to put some time back on the clock because it was running after a dead ball.
And they will reset the clock to 22 seconds as Larry Friedman makes the call to the folks upstairs. 27-26 our score. The Skyhawks getting 3 touchdowns from Marvell Scott and a kickoff return from Anthony Payton. The Lincoln Lightning getting 4 touchdown runs from Damon Benning, who coming into the game had scored 16 touchdowns. Now he has 20 on the season. 20 touchdowns in 6 games. That's a lot of points. Cristo for the end zone. Frederick. Incomplete. Frederick got his feet tangled up with the defender, Terrence Oster. Also defending Raynard Gover.
Cristo looks backside, then he throws front side to the go round. Oster does a good job right here, not letting the receiver get in position to catch that ball.
2nd down and 10. Draw play, Betting. He's got some running room, got a blocker out in front, and he's smacked into the sideboards with 10 seconds to go in the half by C.J. McDavid.
Great run by Damon Benning right there.
15-yard run and a 1st down and goal for the Lightning with 10 seconds to go in the half.
Ronnie Smith sheds the block of the receiver, and C.J. McDavid and Raynard Gover finishes him off. Damon Benning is a great running back. He backed up Lawrence Phillips for 2 years out in Nebraska, so you know the kind of tailbacks they have out there, so you know that this guy is a quality tailback.
Raymond Red out there trying to fire up the Skyhawk defense. Lightning trying to get a late touchdown, one which would give them the lead. They are in good field position for a field goal attempt by Kosel if they should choose to go that route. Christo, play fake, end zone intended for Stark, and Stark smacks the sideboards hard, and the ball goes away.
I think Stark is hurt. That left arm and shoulder is not moving.
He smacked that sideboards hard, slams his helmet into the side glass. And another timeout called for by the Lightning to set up a kick by Paul Kosel. This will be officially from the 17-yard line. So it'll be a 25-yard field goal attempt by Paul Kosel. It'll come out of the hold of Jamie Stinson. Fans trying to make some noise. Kick on the way.
I don't think
and
that's not no good. Hit the ceiling first.
And hit the ceiling first. And that is what the officials state. That hit the ceiling first. The kick is no good. And the score remains at halftime. The Dayton Skyhawks 27, the Lincoln Lightning 26. And welcome back to Hara Arena, everyone. Kevin O'Boyle, Eric Blanken with you for Media One Sports. We're at halftime. The Dayton Skyhawks with a 1-point advantage over the Lincoln Lightning, 27-26. And I'd have to say that one of the biggest surprises of the game has been, Eric Boykin, when the Dayton Skyhawks have had the Lincoln Lightning pinned up deep in their own end. They have been able to stop them here in the first half.
The run defense for the Skyhawks has been great this half. They did a good job of stopping the explosive Lincoln Lightning.
There you see some of the first half stats. That big 91-yard rushing mark, courtesy of Damon Benning, 71 yards on 12 carries. You pretty much got to figure he's going to get his yards one way or the other in a game.
Great players find a way to get their stats, and Benning's doing a good job of running that ball down the field for Lincoln. Let's look at the passing yards. Not too much of a difference. 66 for Lincoln, 41 for the Skyhawks, and 1 turnover for Lincoln. Raynard Gover had an interception.
Danny Smith having been baptized by fire in this game. Michael Armour having been shaken up in that first half. Have to wait and see who will be the quarterback for the team here in the second half, Eric.
Yeah, I think Michael twisted his ankle a little bit, but he stayed in the game and continued to do the holding duties on the special team. So it'll be interesting to decide who Ernest Wilson and Mike Schneider go with for the second half.
Have the ceremonial exchange at midfield of the captains. It should be the Lincoln Lightning receiving the ball to start the second half. Here you see Brad Six, number 76, played his high school football just up the road at Northmont High School, former Thunderbolt, and went on to play college football for Western Kentucky. Right there's some Skyhawks doing some stretching out on the field.
Very important to come out, get your stretches going, so you can be playing at full speed to start the second half. You don't want to come out tight and pull a hamstring or anything.
And that's the other thing that I think you have to be concerned about, too, at halftime, is not only just stretching it out, but as this season goes along, and it's fairly humid here in Hara Arena tonight, that you got to watch cramping up, and you got to drink some fluids to get the body rehydrated at halftime as well.
That's extremely important, Kevin. The body has to perspire, and with no fluids, there's nothing to perspire, and that causes dehydration. And when you see people pass out and cramp up, that's what that comes from.
Michael Armour was exchanging some passes with Danny Smith. Danny Smith wearing the jersey number 1. A couple weeks from now, he's going to have to give that baby up, give it back to you.
Me and Danny, we've had a talk about that. His other jersey was fitting him a little tight, so he decided to put on number 1 for a little while. But I told Danny he has to give it back. But he's doing a good job in it, though.
Tom Sellers set to kick off. There you see the line right there down from our camera angle, down deep.
Back for Lincoln, number 40, Leroy Frederick.
Frederick, a yard deep in the end zone. Waits for the blocks to materialize.
Bubble!
And it's going to be close, and I think the Lightning have it. Ball was bobbled momentarily by Ronnie Smith, but the big news here, Rondell Marsh shaken up.
That would be a major loss if Rondell's hurt and he couldn't go.
He appears to be okay. He is up and maybe just a bit woozy, shaken up.
He's one of the important cogs on the defensive line. Now he's calling out of the game.
He'll be replaced by Marcus Worthy. Worthy, first game for the Skyhawks. Comes to Dayton courtesy of Alabama A&M.
Worthy's an intense guy, so look for good things from him this second half if Rondell Marsh can't go.
Draw play, Betting right out of the grass of Worthy. C.J. McDavid goes back to make the tackle, but a big run by Damon Benning on the first play for the Lightning in the second half. On the draw, gets a first down at the 15. A big 13-yard run.
Just a counter play. Worthy has him right there, but you have to hit a guy like that chest to chest. You can't expect to arm tackle a back like Damon Benning.
Give to Benning, and a penalty marker flies as we see some pushing and shoving between Raynard Gover and Tonky Bannister. Now wait to see what Larry Friedman calls holding against the Lightning. So that is a big penalty. That will be a 6-yard mark-off and put the Lightning back to the 21. So a big penalty. Well, they're only going to mark it to the 17, so from the spot of the foul rather than the line of scrimmage.
It's important for the Skyhawk defense to keep Lincoln from scoring on this opening possession.
Now head coach Ernest Wilson. And now they step off another 3 more yards back to the 20-yard line. So the pleading of Raymond Redd and Ernest Wilson pays off. So it'll be first down and 16 from the 21. Now they finally get everything straight.
Finally.
Back to the 21.
All right, everybody get up. Let's hear it for your Skyhawk defense.
Tried to plead the case for the Lincoln Lightning is one of their coaches on the sideline. There's Benning straight down the far side, and he's inside the 1.
Great speed by Damon Benning right there. He turned the corner and he got upfield.
So a good run by Benning, an 18-yard carry.
Just a simple drop play. Christo shows a pass initially, then Benning just gets outside. Marsh gets beat down on the inside. You can't do that when you're defensive end. Gover does a good job of saving the touchdown right here.
Inside the 2, first and goal, Lightning. Give Benning, and he fights his way into the end zone. A 1-yard run, and the Lightning retake the lead.
Great individual effort right there by Benning. Defensive line gets nice surge right there. C.J. McDavid meets Benning, but Benning gets in.
Now the last two kicks have failed. One was blocked. One went wide by Paul Kosel. And this time the Lightning have elected to go for a 2-point conversion. Christo, naked bootleg, throws in the end zone. Frederick's got it, and he is smacked hard into the backboards by Ronnie Smith. And we'll take another look at this one.
Naked bootleg action. Christo's so fast when he gets to the corner. Does a good job getting off the ball, and Ronnie Smith puts a little pain on the receiver. He's out too right now.
We have to ask Frederick if he's in the state of Ohio or the state of Nebraska. He may not know.
It seems as if when he went into the wall, his head ducked down a little bit, so he could have a concussion. We hope he's okay, though.
That was a pretty good lick. It is a 7 points Lincoln advantage at 34-27. Frederick is up. And being attended to by training staffs of both teams. And he's running off under his own power. So the Lincoln Lightning, courtesy of the 1-yard run by Damon Benning and the 2-point conversion pass, take a 7-point lead. And Paul Kosel set to kick off. Deep man once again will be Anthony Payton. Fifth touchdown of the game by Damon Benning. Have to wonder if we're approaching maybe territory of record for most touchdowns in an IFL game. Payton straight up the field, gets some good blocks, cuts it to the outside, could be on his way for a second touchdown return, but he's stopped by Daryl Lattimore.
Great job.
Pinned him up at the legs, and Carlos Gilchrist finished him off. But a great run by Anthony Payton.
Payton receives kickoff, just runs full speed in there. Great job by Sam Maverick right there on that block. Mormino gets a block. Payton finds his way through there.
From the 15 of Lincoln. Pitch, Marvell Scott. He's got some running room. He's knocked out from behind by Dwayne Harris. And Marvell Scott, marvelous Marvell, gets 6 on the carry. They'll give him officially 5 to the 10. Don't forget, next Skyhawks game here at Hara Arena, May 28th against the Steel Valley Smash. Skyhawks defeated the Smash, Wheeling, earlier this year. Scott, wide open lane, and he's closed off at the 1 by Nate Newhouse.
I think tonight we're seeing the best 2 tailbacks in the IFL, and Marvell Scott and Damon Benning. Both these guys are running extremely well tonight. Toss sweep. Sam Maverick's doing a good job kicking this guy out. Marvell gets in there.
Marvell Scott, a 9-yard carry to the 1. It's first and goal. And a quarterback sneak by Danny Smith. And it's a touchdown for the Skyhawks. Probably not the play that Lincoln was expecting on that one.
With Danny Smith behind center, you have a big fullback back there, and he gets right in there. Lincoln probably thought the ball was going to Marvell Scott right there.
For the extra point attempt, Tom Sellers trying to draw the Skyhawks even with Lincoln. And it's good. So Tom Sellers' extra point draws the Skyhawks into a tie with the Lincoln Lightning at 34-34. A couple of the Kitty Hawk dancers. Right down the middle. So the Skyhawks now set to kick off deep. And back deep to receive is Damon Benning, as Leroy Frederick, the normal kick returner, shaken up after that last two-point conversion attempt by the Lincoln Lightning. Kickoff goes deep into the end zone and hits off the back. And a late hit by Brian Nuns of Lincoln could put the Lincoln Lightning in a deep hole.
Stupid play
He said
on Nunn's part.
Terrence McClain tumbling. And they're going to sort it out.
Has to be a personal foul penalty.
Larry Friedman to make the call. Personal foul.
No, bad call.
Friedman calls him for offsetting.
Bad call. Larry does a good job for us, but I don't agree with him right there.
And Ernest Wilson not agreeing with it. He is going to put the Lincoln Lightning first down and 10 at midfield. Lincoln Lightning scoring on their opening drive of the second half on a 1-yard run by Damon Benning.
Counterplay.
Docky Bannister, and he is swarmed under or over, whichever you prefer. And he loses 2 back to the 23.
Fake the dive to Benning then. Bannister comes around, but he runs into Christo.
Second down and 12. Benning on the draw, and not biting on it was William Morris, number 98.
If Morris doesn't make that play, Benning will probably get 5 to 7 more yards on that.
A gain of 3. It'll bring up a 3rd and 9 from the 24. Tie ball game. And before the Lightning can get the 3rd down play underway, timeout on the field. We'll step aside. We're all knotted up even at 34. Third down play coming up for the Lincoln Lightning from the Skyhawk 24-yard line. And chance, Eric, for the Dayton Skyhawk defense to make a statement-making play.
Third down is the toughest down in football, so look for a pass or a draw to Benning right here.
A long 3rd down play. It is coming up for the Lincoln Lightning. Benning, the lone setback behind Monte Cristo. Fake on the draw. Cristo, a lot of time. spots Frederick, and he is leveled near the 15-yard line. Nice defensive play by Ronnie Smith. And they're going to wait to see where they mark it, Eric.
First down, fourth down.
Quarterback like Monte Cristo, you give him time like he had on that play, he's going to pick you apart.
I think they're kind of generous with the spot right there, Kev.
Fourth down, less than a yard to go. The Skyhawks held the Lightning earlier in the game in a similar situation. Fake. Cristo on the bootleg, and he gets inside the 5-yard line, down to about the 2.
The bootleg with Monte Cristo has killed us all game long. You have to be aware of that every play with the guy with his speed back at quarterback.
And they'll call him out of bounds inside the 5.
Dive to Benning, he just gets outside the pocket. William Morris anticipating Benning coming in the hole, but he has outside responsibilities.
Big run by Cristo, a 10-yard carry. Keeps it himself, in trouble, penalty flag on the play, and he's buried at the 3, and another marker flies. So multiple penalties. Holding against Lincoln is one of them. See what the other flag, that was the one late. So you can pick up the hold here.
Right there, C.J. McDavid gets tackled by Bannister.
Docky Bannister guilty of the holding call, and that moves the Lightning back to the 11-yard line. They were first out and goal at the 5, now first and goal from the 11. I'm sure the Dayton Skyhawk defenders say thank you very much. Cristo gives to Betting. Hole closed up in a hurry.
No.
Betting stays on his feet, still on his feet, and finally knocked down at the 14-yard line. And one of the young men running the sticks on the far side was in that tackle and got out of there in a hurry.
Benning does a good job keeping his feet. Skyhawks had him in the backfield, but then they continue to pursue and get him down.
Good play by the Skyhawks defense. Finally finishing him off was Ronnie Smith. So it's second down and goal from the 14. That one lost 3 yards. Fake on the carry to Benning in the end zone, intended for Frederick. Penalty flag flies, and they're going to get Ronnie Smith for pass interference, as he knocked into Frederick from behind at the goal line. And the Dayton coaches are arguing that that was an uncatchable pass. And a big 9-yard penalty to the 5.
The debate is over whether the ball is catchable. You be the judge.
From that angle, inconclusive. Although I think that Leroy Frederick, 6-footer, would have to be about the top size of Shaquille O'Neal to have caught that ball. Hand off to Benning. He gets a yard inside the 5-yard line.
Lincoln's so dangerous inside the red zone for the simple fact that with a back like Benning in the back, but you have to respect them giving him the ball. But with Cristo's escapability, you have to watch him also. Just a straight dive play. Right here, you have to watch a naked with Cristo with the ball in his hands. He's really good with the ball in his hands.
Watch the bootleg here as well. Cristo in trouble. And Worthy, Marcus Worthy with the sack.
Great play on Worthy's part. I don't know what Lincoln's thinking right here. With arguably the best tailback in the IFL, I don't understand why you don't give it to him right here or use Monte Cristo on a rollout pass.
They didn't even use him as a decoy on that play.
To try a straight drop back, which isn't his strong suit. And Worthy makes the tackle.
From the 4, a third down play coming up for the Lightning. Fake to Petting. Cristo in trouble. Fires in the end zone. Touchdown. Complete to Frenchie Buckner. A 4-yard pass by Cristo. And the Lightning retake the lead.
They fake the naked. Cristo does a good job. Rondell Marsh does a good job of keeping contain on him. He goes back the other way and touchdown. Ronnie Smith was right there, but you can't give a guy like Cristo all day to throw the ball.
On for the extra point will be Paul Kosel. Trying to give his team a 7-point advantage. And he got it through. So it's a 41-34 Lincoln advantage. Here's the replay of the extra point kick. Just slid it through on the upright. So a 4-yard pass, Buckner from Cristo, the 12th touchdown pass of the season for Monte Cristo. There you see some of the young fans enjoying themselves here tonight. Skyhawks trying to get back into this one. They've given up 2 touchdowns to the Lightning here in the second half. But the last time the Skyhawks touched the football, a very nice drive capped by the Danny Smith 1-yard sneak. And back deep to receive once again, Anthony Payton. Trying to keep it away from Payton. Bouncing ball picked up by Payton at the 2. Payton. And he will not get a good return out of this one as Taki Bannister pulls him down at the 15. So the Skyhawks have 35 yards of real estate to negotiate to attempt to tie this one up. Danny Smith has been at the controls of the Skyhawks since earlier in this game when Michael Armour was shaken up. Swing pass, Payton, a lot of running room, and if it wasn't for Daryl Lattimore, Payton had another touchdown.
Payton's so explosive when he gets the ball in his hands.
Here we see it once again, Eric.
This is called rocket screen left. Just a quick step back by Payton. He catches the ball, cuts across the field. Payton was a tailback at Kentucky Wesleyan for his first 2 years before he moved to receiver, so he knows how to run after the catch.
Smith intended for Scott and overthrows him. That was that pass pattern that got Anthony Payton a touchdown against Duluth, and as you mentioned, one of the favorite routes for the Skyhawks.
That's just a hitch and go. 5-yard hitch, pump fake by the quarterback, and the receiver turns upfield.
Second down and 10 from the Lightning 22-yard line. Smith over the middle. Payton, and he's got the touchdown, a 22-yard pass. And the Skyhawks are within one once again.
Great pitch and catch. Payton just comes back and runs an option route. Danny takes a 5-step drop and just delivers the ball.
Tom Sellers in for the extra point attempt.
Sellers in for the extra point attempt out of the hold of Michael Armour, and the timeout is called. We'll step aside. Skyhawks trailing it by 1. Back at Hara Arena, the extra point attempt by Tom Sellers. We're momentarily awaiting that. The Skyhawks, courtesy of a 22-yard pass. Anthony Payton from Danny Smith, as you see one of the members of the Kitty Hawk Dancers. Entertaining the fans here at Hara Arena.
Skyhawk fans, our next home game, Friday, May 28th, 7:30, against the Steel Valley Smash from Willie, right here at Hara Arena. Tickets available. Pick them up tonight.
Armour set for the extra point hold for Tom Sellers. High snap. Kick is good, however, by Sellers. And once again, we've got a tie football game. After the initial miscues by Sellers in the kicking department, he has come through in the last 2 quarters. There you get a good look at Terrence McClain, who will get set for the kickoff. And here's the extra point once again.
Punches it through the upright.
Damon Benning back to receive. And last time he returned one, a little bit of excitement as he fumbled. And the Skyhawks, Ronnie Smith, almost recovered.
.82 points have been scored, and we still have a full quarter of football to be played.
That one hit the ceiling, and the Lightning will have it at midfield. .82 points, as you mentioned, Eric. If you take away the 13 that were scored in the opening quarter, that equates to 69 points in the middle 2 quarters of this football game.
We've seen a lot of offense tonight, and this is what indoor football is all about right here, putting a lot of points on the board. Sellers' kick hits the ceiling, so Lincoln receives the ball at the 25-yard line. He has to get the ball down. We cannot give a team like Lincoln field position on the 25-yard line. Damon Benning.
This is why Benning down the sidelines, and he is smacked hard into the sideboards. Marcus Worthy gets an earful from Frenchie Buckner. And it will be a 1st and goal coming up for the Lightning.
Benning hits the corner. C.J.
McDavid, and then Worthy comes in to finish him off.
19 yards, extremely too much. Big plays are killing the Skyhawk defense tonight.
Travis Savage is shaken up, one of the offensive linemen for the Lightning.
I think Benning, he probably has around 120 yards rushing.
Tried for the fade route intended for Benning. Broken up by Gomer.
Incomplete. Second down.
Take another look at it.
If Christo continues to sell these passes, he won't have receivers to finish the game.
And the way that the guys are jawing at each other, Eric, I think the interesting game's going to be next week out of Lincoln after playing these guys 2 weeks in a row.
It will be bad blood for that one, Kevin. I'm sure that.
Christo, quarterback draw. He's got the touchdown. A 6-yard run by Monte Cristo, and the Lightning take the lead once again.
I don't think this was a designed quarterback drop, but Cristo drops back. His receivers are covered pretty well. He decides to tuck it down and get the 6.
47-41. Lightning in front, but Skyhawks have been matching touchdown for touchdown. The Lightning, and this one ekes through the uprights. 48-41 game after the extra point is kicked by Paul Kosel. And that brings us to the end of our third quarter of play. Stay with us for an exciting fourth quarter to come. Lincoln in front by 7. Back to Hara Arena. Kevin O'Boyle, Eric Boykin with you, getting set for the start of our fourth quarter of play. Kickoff coming by Paul Kosel. And Eric, it will come down, I do believe, to the final possession of this ball game.
Oh, no, Sam Maverick. He puts his hand out. Mormino recovers the ball.
James Mormino with a full head of steam across the 20 of Lincoln to the 19.
Styles are lucky right there. Sam Maverick tried to field that ball, but he knows better. He's lucky Mormino was right behind him, or that could have been trouble, Kevin.
He officially spotted at the 20. And will be the Skyhawks football, 1st and 10 at the 20 of the Lincoln Lightning. Skyhawks have good field position here on the opening drive of the fourth quarter. Out of the eye. Marvell Scott cuts it to the outside, and he was strung out fairly effectively by the Lightning defense. Leading the charge, Tim Mack. And it's only a 1-yard gain.
Got a draw call. Marvell has a hole, decides to take it outside. Gets wrapped up.
On the spot, a 2-yard gain for Marvell Scott. Once again, Scott on the carry inside the 15-yard line to the 14.
Marvell Scott on the carry, pick up a 3.
James Scott will come into the ball game along with Anthony Payton. See this one here?
An isolation play. Scots have too many men in the huddle right now.
Marvell Scott will head to the bench.
Oh, damn.
Smith and intended for Payton, but he was well wrapped up. Incomplete. 4th down coming up.
Danny fumbles the snap right there and had a quick pass. And he's lucky that didn't get picked off right there. Danny should just throw it out of bounds or eat it.
From the 15, a 4th down and 5 play for the Skyhawks. Payton. He's got the first down and the touchdown. Anthony Payton, his 3rd touchdown of the game, and the Skyhawks have close the gap once again.
This is just like an extended toss sweep right here. Danny gets the ball to Anthony, and great individual. Look at that, James Scott on a great block right there. Ronnie Red driving this man into the wall. Touchdown, Anthony Payton.
15-yard pass from Smith.
Payton's having a great game tonight.
Smith, his second touchdown pass of the game. Sellers on the extra point, and he misses as he pulled it wide.
Critical miss right there. Me and Kevin have stressed this point all game. You cannot miss those extra points. And now's the time of the game where they will come to bite you in the you-know-what.
Attendance a bit disappointing tonight, 2,410. I had thought it would have been a little bit higher because look on the near side, there's quite a few folks. Folks, you know that there might be a lot of things to do on Friday nights in Dayton, but why not make a habit of coming out and seeing indoor football? I'm sure from here on out, there's going to be a lot of exciting things happening for the Skyhawks, including a run for the playoffs.
I urge everybody watching this telecast, please come out and support the Skyhawks. This is something new, and I think the team, Ernest Wilson and the whole organization will greatly appreciate you coming out here. This is very exciting. It's different.
Low line drive kick. Penning off a high bounce. He runs into McLean, and he falls ahead to the 20-yard line. So the Skyhawks have the Lightning at the 20-yard line of Lincoln.
Squib kick, which is smart considering you got Jamin Benning back there.
First down and 10 for the Lincoln Lightning, in front by a point. Draw play, and Benning goes nowhere.
William Morris makes a great play right there. That play has been killing us all night long. And Morris reads it right there.
William Morris with a big defensive play, the Illinois product. Play with the Baltimore Ravens.
Great play by Morris right here. He didn't lose contain right there.
Second down play, Christo.
Quarterback draw.
This one more of a decide play, and he gets the first down.
First down, Lincoln.
Terrence Oster has to come up to make the tackle, but not before Christo has a first down at the Dayton 15-yard line.
Christo's just like a running back there. Oster makes a good play. If he doesn't make that play, that could go for a touchdown.
A 15-yard run by Monty Christo. Give to Benning, struck out on the far side, and he was whacked pretty hard by Raynard Gover. His head snapped back there pretty good. Gain of 2.
Here's a draw. Marsh misses him, and CJ pursues him, and McLean and Gover come up for the tackle.
I misspoke. That was Terrence McLean with the lick.
The impressive thing about Damon Benning, he always finds a way to get more yards after initial contact.
Christo off the play plate, in trouble. Spots the receiver, Frederick, and incomplete.
Hit the wall first.
So a third down and 8 coming up from the 13.
Ronnie Red slips back on the defensive side of the ball to give Smith a break.
Worthy comes in to replace Morris.
Fake the penny. Christo's receivers are covered. This what scares us so much right here when he gets time in the pocket like that. You don't know if he's going to run or if he's going to pass. And it's hard on a defense to ask a defensive back to cover a receiver 8 to 10 seconds.
And the Skyhawks ask for the timeout as C.J. McDavid signaled for it. That comes up at the 9:08 mark to go in the game. Skyhawks trail it by a point. A big third down play coming up, and the Skyhawks hold them to a fourth down here, Eric. That, you don't like to say moral victories, but a big momentum victory for the Dayton Skyhawks.
We need a stop right here. Lincoln has pretty much moved the ball at will on us the whole game, so a stop at this stage of the game would be very imperative.
The explosive Lincoln Lightning looking to duplicate last week's 86-point performance against the Duluth Lumberjacks. Don't forget, next game for the Skyhawks comes up on May 28th against the Steel Valley Smash. And then you can make plans for June on the 18th. The Madison Mad Dogs come to town. And to close out the inaugural IFL season for the Dayton Skyhawks on June 25th against the Topeka Knights. Skyhawks trying to hold the Lightning here and turn the tables. Out of the shotgun. Christo takes off running. He's got a lane. He's got the first down and the touchdown. Monty Christo, a 13-yard touchdown run.
This was a design all the way. Defensive end takes inside course, which you can't do with Monty Christo back at quarterback.
Here is where the last miss by Tom Sellers is very important because the Lightning look like they're going for two. If they make it, it'll be a 9-point advantage. Timeout. Call for, and we'll step aside. Be back for the extra point. Well, while we were away, Paul Kosel made the extra point for the Lightning, and here it is.
High snap, but they get it down, and Kosel drills it through the uprights.
So the Skyhawks trailing now by 8 points. And they need a drive down the field and then a 2-point conversion to get back in this ball game. But it is a margin with which they can come back from. You got to think that if the Skyhawks can come back and eventually come away with the win, that it would be so demoralizing for this Lincoln team. They have to travel all the way back to Lincoln, Nebraska, knowing that they lost to the Skyhawks the previous week. Mormino fields the line drive kick and brings the Skyhawks to the 20-yard line of Lincoln once again. A design play by the Lightning to keep it away from Peyton, but both times Mormino has made a pay.
Mormino gets up in there and goes outside the block of Marcus Worthy, and Gets all he can. Lincoln, I think they're pretty smart because a guy like Anthony Payton back there who can break any given play, I wouldn't kick it to him either.
Smith steps up in the pocket, and he'll pay for it as he was pulled down by Tim Mack and Trent Tolai. Gains 2 on the play.
Danny looks to his right, receiver cover, looks back left, and receivers covered also, so he decides to get upfield and get what he can. He had James Scott right there in the flat.
Pitch, Mormino. Got some blockers, still on his feet, fights for the yardage and gets to the 12.
James Mormino with the carry.
Good 6-yard run that time by Mormino.
Nickel 7. It'll be 3rd and 2 for your Skyhawks.
Just a toss sweep. Offensive lineman does a good job of hooking his man. Lawrence gets downfield, gets a block. Mormino picks up the 6.
3rd down and 2 for the Skyhawks from the 12. Give this to Marvell Scott, who we have not seen in a while. And Scott is submarine. Combining on the stop, Robert Pensick and Darrell Lattimore. This is a big 4th down play for the Skyhawks. Can ill afford to not convert.
Marvell just takes it outside. He may have had a cutback lane on the backside.
Pitch to Mormino. He's got the 1st down and more. Still on his feet. Fights inside the 5 to the 3.
Great individual effort by Jim Mormino. I thought he was down after initial contact, but he kept his feet going to get that 1st down. That was a big play right there because if we don't get that 1st down, I think the game may be over at that stage with the way Lincoln is scoring points.
1st down and goal for the Skyhawks from the 2.
Great effort right here. I thought he's down right here, but he keeps his feet to get the 1st down. That's just desire and heart right there.
Pitch, Marvell Scott, touchdown! Marvell Scott gets his 4th touchdown of the game. And the Skyhawks now are down by just 2.
Great blocking right there. You drive a truck up in that hole. That touchdown was set up by Jim Mormino on the 4th down play.
Skyhawks leaving no doubt. They're going for 2. Pass, end zone, Mormino, he's got it. We're tied at 55.
Coach Wilson's calling for the Hara Arena to get loud. Isolation fake, throwing the ball to Jim Mormino. We need a stop by the defense right here to get the ball back in the offense hands.
You know what would even be better than that would be a very big play by the special teams here on this kickoff.
In practice, they had worked on onside kicks, but I don't know if we get one right here, but you never know when the front line turns their back. It's very easy to kick it in the back of one of the defenders. That happened last week at the Green Bay game.
Sellers to kickoff. Back deep to receive, Damon Benning. He's standing at his own 5-yard line. Line drive kick. Benning from the 9. Outruns his blockers, and he gets across midfield to the Dayton 24-yard line.
Great open field back tackle by C.J. McDavid.
C.J. McDavid a bit slow getting up. And referee Larry Friedman talking it over with him. up on the 5-minute to go mark in our fourth quarter. And the Skyhawks and Lightning tied up at 55.
Important possession for the Skyhawk defense. Watch Christo right here.
Christo, fade route intended for Benning, and he dropped it. Benning bobbled it along the sidelines, never had possession of it. And it'll bring up a second down play. Take another look at it, Eric.
Christo throws up the fade for Benning and has it, then Oster comes and knocks it out of his hands.
Nice play by Terrence Oster defending. Second down and 10 from the 24 of the Skyhawks. Fans doing the wave. Christo, bootleg was knocked there, and a nice play. Taki Bannister was met full force by Terrence McLean.
Great play right there by Terrence McLean, but even a bigger play by Rondell Marsh by keeping Monty Christo in containment. Faking to Benning. Marsh got sucked in earlier in the game, and he does a good job of recovering, and McLean comes in and does a good job of putting on a big hit right there.
Third down and 10.
This is a tricky formation right here. We have to watch Christo with the quarterback draw right here, or a quarterback sweep.
Skyhawks heavy rush on Christo. Raynard Gover made one hit. Christo is stopped at the 20-yard line. It'll bring up a fourth down as he was swarmed over by a host of Skyhawks. McDavid and Marcus Worthy also in on the stop. And they're going to go for the field goal.
Good job right here. C.J. McDavid gets in there. Marsh is being held right there, so he couldn't get out and make the play. Gover stops him with a host of help from the other Skyhawks.
This will come from the 24 of the Lightning, a 34-yard attempt is blocked. Penalty flag flying on the play. Oster recovers it at the Lightning 23. See what the flag is. And it looks like it's going to go against the Skyhawks.
I think that was an illegal rush. You're not allowed to rush from the outsides on the field goal and extra points.
Larry Friedman with the call. Illegal rush, a 3-yard penalty will make it a 4th down and 2 from the 16. And I bet we'll see the Lightning offense back on the field. So the Lightning dodge a big-time bullet there.
Got to feel bad for the Skyhawk defense. They gave great effort in that last series to stop Lincoln, the highest scoring team in the IFL. Hopefully they can do it again. It's 4th down still, but just a little shorter this time.
See if they have more water in the well, which they drew from on the last defensive play. Christo under center this time. And he is stopped, and a big-time drop by William Morris intended on the pass, and it's a Skyhawk football. William Morris with a big-time defensive charge, and the Skyhawks have held.
Great job right here. Christo has hurt us all game with that. Morris stays at home right here and forces a bad throw.
Good individual effort by Christo to get the pass away. And the 2-minute warning given to both teams. We'll come back for a fantastic finish, tied up at 55. Welcome back to Hara Arena, and we're going to get the official rules. And both teams are guaranteed one possession of the football in the overtime. They'll have a coin toss, and they'll be playing the same rules they have for the last 2 minutes of the half. Shall apply for the overtime, courtesy of Jeff Henderson of the Skyhawks, giving us, they must have read our minds. Eric Boykin, great play. Marvell Scott eludes the rush, gets across the 20-yard line to the 21-yard line. And here's where timeouts are going to be big for the Skyhawks. Second down play coming up from the 21.
Marvell Scott, Anthony Payton have done a great job all night handling the ball. Marvell on the sweeps and Payton on special teams and into the quick throwing routes, and that's helped take some of the pressure off Danny Smith tonight.
Second down and 5 for the Skyhawks. Smith passes blocks. One thing that does, it stops the clock. That might just aid the Skyhawks a bit on this third down play coming up.
This route is 93. We've been running this route all night, and the defensive lineman finally gets smart and just puts his hands up.
Third down, 5 coming up for the Skyhawks. 1:19 to go in the ball game.
Oh,
Fumble
no!
On the play. Fight for the loose football. And the Skyhawks have recovered at the 25-yard line. A break. But it'll bring up a 4th and 1.
Danny Smith and Sam Maverick have a mishap on the snap, and you can't have those kind of mistakes right here with 58 seconds to go. Actually, it turned out to be positive because we gained 7 yards. 4th and 1 on the 25.
4th down play for the Skyhawks. 45 seconds to go. Handoff to Marvell Scott! Touchdown! Skyhawks, they take the lead with 37 seconds to go. A 25-yard run by Marvell Scott.
Great effort, Marvell Scott. He's done a hell of a job all game getting outside and getting to that end zone. Isolation play, breaks the tackle right here, then bounces outside. Keeps his balance right there and gets in the end zone.
What a run by Marvell Scott. Fifth touchdown of the night by Marvell Scott. Sellers for the extra point. No good.
Oh, no.
A big miss by Sellers, but the Skyhawks have a 6-point lead with 37 seconds to go.
Good snap and hold. He just pulls it right. He's pulled a couple right tonight. Hopefully that does not come back to haunt us at the end of the game.
This has been all that the IFL has been cracked up to be. Excitement all the way. Great individual efforts by players on both teams, offense and defense. Everything that these fans, 2,410, could ask for, they certainly have gotten their money's worth, and we hope that those of you that might be hedging, not wondering maybe if you want to come out to a game, don't hedge anymore. Get your tickets, May 28th, Skyhawks in the Steel Valley Smash, once again for the wall-to-wall war at Hara Arena. And the Skyhawks, if they hold on, this would be a big victory for them and a big confidence booster going into Lincoln, Nebraska next Friday night. On the high bounce, Benning straight up the field, and he gets to the 22-yard line with 31 seconds to go, and the very, very dangerous Monte Cristo coming onto the field. He's got 28 yards to negotiate. And we'll take a look at the last kickoff.
Just a squib kick, keeping it out of the hands of Benning. He ends up getting it and gets all he can.
Fans on their feet. The Skyhawks defense came up big last series. They're going to go for broke here.
Offsides.
They're offsides as Frederick was 3 yards offsides before the ball was even snapped.
This is the kind of excitement that the IFL brings to all the towns in the inaugural season. If you're at home watching this, we're happy, but you're missing a great game here in Hara Arena tonight.
3-yard mark off to the 19. It'll be 1st and 13. Fans making a lot of noise. Cristo, heavy rush, ducks it in, and he's going straight up the field, trying to cut to the sideline. Gover makes a dive for him with 20 seconds to go, and it'll be a 1st down and 10 for the Lightning at the 14 as Monte Cristo comes up with a big play for the Lightning.
Looks downfield. He tucks it really quick, though. Just gets all he can. Monte Cristo is a great quarterback tonight. We've seen a lot of great individual efforts tonight. Damon Benning, Monte Cristo, Anthony Payton, Marvell Scott. We've seen some of the top players in the league tonight.
And let's not forget the defensive players as well for the Dayton Skyhawks. Rondell Marsh, Raynard Gover, William Morris, C.J. McDavid. This has been one of the most exciting football games I've ever seen. I've seen a couple of dandies. It'll be a 1st down and 10 from the 14.
We would have to expect for Lincoln to get the ball to either Frenchie Buckner or get the ball in Damon Benning's hands some way. You really don't want to hand the ball off to him because Lincoln's short on timeouts, but they've lined him up out at receiver, so he's dangerous when he has the ball in his hands.
Cristo, straight drop, in trouble, throws in the end zone!
Oh!
Touchdown! Benning gets it. We're tied at 61 with just 13 seconds to go.
Great play right there, Damon Benning. Terrence Oster, that was a great effort.
And Paul Kosel in for the extra point try.
Cristo gets flushed out of pocket, and he just throws the ball up, and Benning makes a great play. Oster's right there. Not to fault him, but Benning just jumped over him and got the ball.
Kosel on for the extra point attempt. And before the kick was attempted, the whistles blew. And we'll see what this is all about. A false start against the Lincoln Lightning. So Kosel on for another chance. It backs up the extra point kick to the 12. Fans on their feet, loud as they can be. Kosel out of the hold of Stinson. Kick is blocked! And we are headed
to overtime.
Possibly to overtime. At least at this point, it's 61-61. But we have a kickoff to come up.
Great push inside. I can't see who blocked it, but whoever did, good job.
The Dayton Skyhawks, a big special teams play there. Another block. They've blocked 3 kicks here tonight on Paul Kosel. And the kickoff to come. No time expired off the clock. And we'll see what happens here. The Skyhawks not even. Well, they'll send Payton back deep. Mormino has returned the last couple of kickoffs for the Skyhawks. Don't expect one to go in the air. Line drive kick. Mormino pitches it back to Payton. Payton's got some running room. He's to the 23-yard line. 8 seconds to go. And the Skyhawks have it at the 23 of Lincoln.
I think we got time right here for one shot at the end zone and a field goal. Squib kick by Lincoln. Mormino fields it and pitches it back to Payton.
And a timeout called for by the Skyhawks. They will talk things over. And I'm sure that that is what Ernest Wilson and Mike Snyder have up their sleeves. Go for the end zone at least once. And then try for a game-winning field goal. You got to wonder, what is the condition of Tom Seller's stomach right now? As he's got to have some big-time butterflies going through it if he should be called on for a game-winning field goal attempt.
Over on the sideline, I bet nobody's talking to Tom Sellers right now. You just leave the kicker alone and let him focus on what he has at hand.
But I'm sure if you ask him, he'd wish for the Skyhawks to get a touchdown and take the pressure off.
Exactly.
Smith looks into the direction of James Scott. Incomplete. 4 seconds to go. And here comes Tom Sellers.
Danny was just a little late in his delivery right there, but we have a chance for a field goal.
It'll come from the 19-yard line on the spot. It'll be a 39-yard field goal attempt. Sellers
can hit these field goals. He's practiced them and he's hit them in practice. I've seen it, so hopefully he'll follow through and hit it.
Chance for the game-winning field goal. Kick is on its way. And it hit the upright as the buzzer sounded. So we go to overtime. We'll see a look at the extra point here.
Sellers has a lot of leg in this ball. Hits that left upright.
And with that, we'll go to a short break and come back with our overtime period. And welcome back to Hara Arena. Kevin O'Boyle, Eric Boykin, between the two of us, I don't think we have a heartbeat left. We're going to go to overtime, and to explain to you the overtime rules in a nutshell, both teams are guaranteed one possession. If the score remains tied after that one possession, then we go to sudden death. The Lincoln Lightning have won the toss. They have elected to receive the kickoff. So, folks, don't go away should the Lightning score any points. The Skyhawks have a chance to tie it up. And they have come back numerous occasions here tonight.
Kevin, this has been a great game. Words can't explain the excitement that's in Hara Arena tonight.
Electric probably comes closest. Line drive kick, almost eluded Damon Benning. Waits for the blockers, and he's pulled down at the 24-yard line. C.J. McDavid with the tackle. So the Lightning, the clock will not run. be the kickoff. And Benning gets it up to the 25-yard line where the Lincoln Lightning have it. Benning gets 7 yards, pulled down from behind by Mansfield Dinkins. A gain of 7 on the play.
Toss sweep to Benning. Kevin, I'd have to figure right here that Lincoln will pound the ball to Benning for the next few plays and then come with Monte Cristo on the bootleg, which has worked so effectively tonight. Benning's probably closing in on the 200-yard mark.
And Benning in trouble. Great surge by Marcus Worthy and finishing him off, William Morris.
Great job with the D-line right there.
Loss of yardage on the play, back to the 21-yard line.
This is the draw play that they've used so effectively tonight. Worthy gets a hand on his thighs, and Morris finishes him off. Benning has not went down tonight on just with one player tackling him. It's taken 2 to 3 Skyhawks to tackle him tonight, which is a sign of a great back.
Loss of 3, 3rd down and 6. Cristo, bootleg. He's got a lane, but closing it off was C.J. McDavid, and Worthy comes up to finish him off. It looked like for a moment Cristo had a wide open lane, but McDavid did not bite. Look how far McDavid had to come.
Cristo kind of rushed that play action fake right there. He may have had it, but Worthy and McDavid do a great job of wrapping him up right there.
4th down play from the the 19-yard line. So it'll be 4th and 4. We're in overtime. And we're tied at 61. The Lightning call their lone timeout in the overtime period. There you get a look at the Lincoln Lightning bench. Monte Cristo coming into the huddle very deliberately. This one has been everything that the IFL promised when it came to Dayton. Made the announcement late in '98, preparing for the inaugural season in '99. Cristo, he's in deep trouble. Pass, incomplete. Great play by Raynard Gover.
Great play. Cristo faked towards the line of scrimmage as if he was going to run, then dropped off, and Raynard was right there for the pass deflection. Comes towards the line like he's going to run. Throws the ball up, and Raynard Gover knocks it down.
Benning had it for just a minute.
If Dayton can win this game, this will take us to 3-3 and just one game closer to first place. We would still be one game behind Lincoln.
Skyhawks with a chance to end it with a touchdown, or any score for that matter, because Lincoln would not be able to get a reciprocating drive. They've already had their one chance. Smith intended for Payne. Touchdown! The Skyhawks have won in overtime, 67-61. A big 37-yard touchdown pass. Smith to Payton, and the Skyhawks have upset the Lincoln Lightning.
The hitch and go, we've seen that play the last 3 weeks come in big for the Dayton Skyhawks.
And here it is once again.
Danny pump fakes and just lays it up there for Payton to run under it. Important victory for the Dayton Skyhawks. Great play by Peyton tonight.
And the wild celebration continuing. Oh my, Eric and I will try to catch our breath, regain our composure, and come back to a wild and crazy Hara Arena in a moment. Welcome back to a wild and crazy Hara Arena. We went overtime, and the Dayton Skyhawks come away with a 67-61 victory over the Lincoln Lightning. And to my left, the hero, Anthony Payton, a 37-yard touchdown reception from Danny Smith, and a couple of big touchdowns for your club here tonight, but the biggest one, the game winner.
Well, first of all, I want to thank God for giving me the talent. I want to thank all my coaches for spending time teaching me how to, do the right things on the field. And tonight, all that coaching, all the running we done in practice showed up because we pulled it out in overtime.
When the defense would look like they were going to hold Lincoln on that series and set up that play, were the guys on offense thinking, let's get this thing over with in a hurry, go for the gusto on that play?
We knew if our defense stopped them, we could score because, we played good tonight, but we're still not playing up to our potential. And once we get it, we knew once we got the ball back, we was going to be able to score if our defense can just hold them. Because Lincoln has, a couple of good players, number 21, number 9, I don't know their names, but they're excellent runners, and we knew if we could stop them, that we could beat the defense deep.
Well, that guy to your left, Eric Boykin, when you were so open on that play, looked like he was going to want to catch that ball as well.
Going into that play, we had alluded to all night, the hitch and go. Before that play, did you tell Danny or Mike that play was open?
We had talked about it on the sidelines, and I seen they was pressing a couple of times. And in the film we watched, they was getting deep, but they was pressing us, so I figured that the hitch and go would work. And we talked about it earlier, but we hadn't run it yet.
I know that it's maybe a little bit early to talk about this, but Anthony, Lincoln's got a long bus ride back to think about this, and then you guys are coming right down their throat again next week. This was a big win for this club.
See, what I think is going to happen is they're going to try to key on me, key on James Scott. We got so many weapons. We got Momino on the backfield. We got Marvell Scott in the backfield. They just can't key on one or two of us. Then we got Ronnie Red at the other slot. So they can't just key on all of us. They got to make the defense play harder. They can't just watch me.
Eric, you got any more questions for Anthony?
Good job, Anthony, and do the same thing next week.
I'll try my best, man. Thanks a lot.
Okay, we got to get the quarterback through that ball. Danny Smith in here. The Dayton Skyhawks win it in overtime, 67-61. We've got a wild celebration scene going on as Danny Smith makes his way over here. Danny, first of all, congratulations on a great performance out there tonight, but it's one you probably did not think you were going to partake of, at least not at the offset. You came in relief of Michael Armour in the first quarter of the game.
Yeah, we just during practice this week, we mixed things up a little bit and everything, and then we had an idea that Mike and I may be switching back and forth. It was just, depending on how the game went. Mike come out hot, we were just going to try to get something to change the offense up a little bit, get us fired up a little bit. And, we come out and Mike come out and did a good job, and then I went in the second quarter, and, just things went from there.
Talk about that play, the touchdown pass that won the game, that 37-yard pass to Anthony Payton.
Well, they had been pressing us all game outside on the corners, and, and Mike standing on the sideline watching it. That's why it's good, to have a quarterback on the sideline watching that stuff that sees what's happening. He said they were pressing us so hard, on our short little hitch route, and Coach Schneider put it in, and we threw it down the field. He was wide open.
I know we talked about, Eric and I did earlier in the game, this number 1 on the jersey. You did it proud in that game.
Going in the game, I tease Danny all the time, but the way he played, Danny did a good job tonight, and I'm proud of him. Just tell me about how did you feel when you first came into the game? I don't think the fans realize how hard it is to come into the game, coming in cold after the game's been going on for a little while.
Yeah. To get into this again, you're rusty. You come off the bench, you can't warm up anywhere at all. So you come in, you're cold, and it takes a couple series to get into the groove, and you just have to be patient, take your time, and wait for it.
We talked with Anthony Payton about this. When the defense looked like they were going to stop Lincoln on that initial series to start the overtime, was the mindset of the offensive coaches and the offensive players go for the kill on that first play?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if we wanted to go for the kill. We just wanted to make sure, that if it wasn't there, it's first down. If it wasn't there, throw the ball away or do whatever. But, just so happened it was there, and it was great.
And the fans have to really imagine now that not only are the Dayton Skyhawks for real, but this was a very, very big win for this club.
Oh, yeah, very, very big win. I think Lincoln was the number one in our bracket, our division, and, that's just we go next week, play them again, so, we'll see what happens.
Any final questions here for Danny?
Going into next week, Danny, would you change anything up going into the game at Lincoln, or would you leave everything the same?
No, to be honest with you, I wouldn't. I wouldn't change anything. Their defense had a hard time stopping our offense all night. I think we scored on every single drive in the second half. So, offensively, I don't think we changed a thing, at all. So we'll just stay tough, keep playing tough, and practice hard.
Well, congratulations on a great victory tonight, Danny.
Thank you.
And Eric, we'll slide you in here for some final thoughts. This was a very, very big victory. Not only does it prove to the fans here at Dayton that the IFL is a very exciting product, but it also proves that this Skyhawks team, they stumbled a little bit at the outset, but they are a team to contend with for the rest of this season.
This win is a great confidence booster. Around the league, everybody thought that Lincoln was the best team, so for us to take out the top team is very important. Now, if we can beat them again next week, that'll put us in a tie for first place in the Southern Division.
And the tiebreaker would go to the Dayton Skyhawks because they defeated Lincoln twice this year. Well, Eric, it's been a pleasure working with you once again.
Kevin, I've had a great time. And to all the fans who were not out tonight, come out on May 28th against the Steel Valley Smash.
Next game for the Dayton Skyhawks, as Eric said, May 28th here at Hara Arena against Steel Valley. For our Media One Sports Crew, my broadcast colleague Eric Boykin, Kevin O'Boyle saying so long from Hara Arena. In overtime, the Skyhawks win it 67-61. Good night, everyone.